Welcome to episode 51 of My Views Extended. I'm your host, Nadia, and thank you so much for joining me this week. You can listen to My Views Extended on my blog, nadiadanella.com, or on YouTube where closed captioning is available. My YouTube channel name is Nadia Danella, Nadiadonella. I also have a relatively new cooking channel called Nadia's Kitchen Creations on YouTube as well, and I am building up my library every week. For most weeks, you're going to have 2 new videos per week, which includes meat, vegetarian, fish, baking videos, cookies, treats, some vegan. Yeah, that is 2 videos per week for now. And I'm also in the process of hopefully either this week or next week setting up my other YouTube channel, which would be, I guess, a third YouTube channel called Nadia Creates, which is going to be DIY videos, DIYs of all kinds for decoration, home, health and wellness, beauty care, beauty products, things to do at home to either save money or because, if you live in a remote area where you just can't get them and shipping is ridiculous, or if you just want to know for sure what is going into any products that you're going to be putting onto your body. So like I said, hopefully this week, but more likely going to be next week before that first DIY video is up. So your shares, your views, and your likes are very much appreciated across all of my channels and on my blog. Sign up is free as always, and it just takes a few minutes. So if you have any questions, you can contact me at myviewsextended@gmail.com and I will get back to you as soon as possible. I will leave links to all social media sites in the show notes and description area. I have to say that I'm not happy to have woken up to snow to start the week. Monday morning it is, well, not now, but when you're listening to this, it'll be Tuesday, but snow. And I'm looking out the window now, recording this, and snow is just falling in big, fat, white flakes, and it looks like a soft, slushy snow because obviously the ground isn't that cold out here. And I'm just hoping here, being in the lower mainland of BC, but I'm just hoping that this is not going to be a new pattern. I was warned ahead of time that it does snow once or twice a year in the lower mainland, but usually it'll snow in the morning or overnight, very, very light, and it'll be melted by the afternoon, and that's pretty much it. But it is snowing and it is accumulating, and I'm not impressed. Yeah, I expect to see snow out east where I'm from. I'm from southwestern Ontario, and I expect to see snow there. I expect to see snow in Alberta. I even expect to see snow in northern BC, but not on the mainland, at least not to this extent, But I guess I shouldn't be too surprised because it's been really, really nippy for the past few days. Not enough where I was whipping out my winter coat or boots or even a hat, but enough it's like, oh, that's a little cold. But for me, as long as I'm walking and moving, I don't get extremely cold. It's only when you're standing there for 15-20 minutes or longer that you're really going to feel the cold. But anyway, Mother Nature, I am not impressed at all, and apparently parts of Hawaii are receiving snow as well. That's crazy. And the fact that there are people still out there trying to say that global warming isn't a thing. Global warming, by the way, is a gradual increase in the average temperature of the Earth's atmosphere and its oceans, change that is believed to be permanently changing the Earth's climate from live science, and as well, global warming, the effects of it, not only in the rising of temperatures, but also because of that, there is the increase of severe storms and weather events such as snow in places like Hawaii and, parts of BC, most of BC, where we really shouldn't be getting any snow, or at least snow that stays. So I just hope that people's commutes to work are not affected by the snow, because when you live in places where the snow is not the norm, they tend to drive like they just received their licenses the day before. It's like that, to me, that's just common sense. It's like, you don't get the weather, so you're not used to it. So how about we pay attention, and how about we just ease off and drive just a little bit slower? We're not used to it, so how about we not go flying down the road before you end up in somebody's living room? Like, just slow down, take your time. It's snowing, you woke up, you looked out your window, you saw snow. Okay, let me leave an extra 15 minutes early. Just that's all it takes. Just slow down. Justin Trudeau's pipeline announcement was announced late last week. He gave the go-ahead to bring pipelines to Canada. And I don't agree with it. In the end, it's all about money. Whether it's about Obama or now Justin, it's all about money. Although President Obama did have to step in a bit to help with the pipelines happening in the Dakota pipeline. The pipelines they will all eventually break or leak, which is going to affect farmland and water supplies, food supplies. They all break. It's just a matter of when, and it's a matter of when the companies notice it, how long it takes for them to notice it from the initial leak, how quick they are to clean it up, or how quick they are to hide it from the public, or pretend that it never happened, or pretend that it's not happening. They will all eventually leak. Anyway, without talking about this for 10 years, do I want people to have jobs? Yes. Do I want people to lose their jobs? No. But there has to be other options that are sustainable, that will protect the environment, that hold less risk for massive spills and destruction of viable land. Land that is used to feed and house people. Yes, in many aspects, our world leaders are talking heads, but in some aspects, they do have power. Can that power be overturned? Yes, and it happens all the time, but sometimes them stepping in is enough to get the public's attention for things to change. But like most politicians, it's all about lining their and their future generations' pockets. I don't care how less criminalistic the two of them, Obama and Trudeau, are in comparison to the previous leaders before them. They are politicians, and I have to remind myself of that, and have to remind myself of that, and that all politicians lie. That's just the nature of the beast. Some are worse than others. And yes, I voted. And I voted since I was legally able to in every municipal, provincial, and federal election. I voted. So I will go ahead and leave the natural energy report from, I believe this one was from 2014. So you can go check that out if you want to do so. So even though Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has gone ahead and signed the go-ahead for the pipeline, all the news about pipelines around the world, it's not bad news. On Sunday, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has issued a stay on the easement issued to the Dakota Access Pipeline development, and I'm sure at the Standing Rock Indian Reservation near Cannonball, North Dakota in the U.S. And you basically had to be living under a rock, or you just refused to pay attention to what's going on in the world. And what this means is that what the stay means that the pipeline will not be built under Lake Oahe. And does this mean that it's over? I certainly don't think so. The Dakota Access Pipeline is still going to be built. That is a lot of money to a big corporation, in the billions, and it's just a matter of where the pipeline will be rerouted and who else is going to fight to keep it off of their land next. And these protests and stands, this is what is next for Canada, with Justin Trudeau's approval of 2 pipelines which are set to come by 2030. And that I will leave some information if you care to know more about that, the link from cbc.ca News, Saskatchewan. And sticking with the US, boy, I was so disappointed. I was kind of in shock for a couple days. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised, but I have to say I was kind of in shock. I had to sit on it for a day. Texas will now enforce burial of miscarriages and abortions, with the exception of those occurring within the home, and the age of the fetus does not matter. They will not require naming of the fetus, nor does the fetus require birth or death certificates. And this is to take effect December 19th, 2016. And I just want to know, has Texas lost its mind? Religion and state should not cross. Your religion is your business. If you believe in a higher power, that is between you and your higher power. If you don't believe in a higher power, that is between you and yourself. To me, it's pretty straightforward. I'm not here to judge anyone, well, until you start taking away somebody's rights. And I'm not perfect, so why would I expect perfection in someone else? Hopefully this ruling will be challenged and repealed. The state needs to stay out of people's business. If you want to bury the remains of a miscarriage or abortion, that is up to you to do so. If you do not want to, then don't. To force someone, whether it's the patient or the clinic or the hospital, to pay for it, that is sickening and it's barbaric. We don't know the circumstances of someone's loss, chosen or not. You don't have to agree with it, but you certainly do not get the right to make such a personal decision for someone else. I am disgusted. And I will leave some code and laws for Texas in the description box so you can go read them, check them out, to see what it says exactly. And I think it will show the amendments that have been put in or that are coming for December 19th, 2016. It's pretty, yeah, it's disgusting. Just, well. Quote or saying of the week: success is no accident. It is hard work, perseverance, learning, studying, sacrifice, and most of all, love of what you are doing or learning to do. Success is no accident. And I think this is so true. You've seen and heard people say that they never expected to blow up or to make millions, whatever it was that they may not have counted on, but what made them successful was not by accident. It is hard work, perseverance, learning, studying, sacrifice. Anything worth something is hard work. I may not like it, but I've definitely found that in my years that that's just how it is. There, of course, you're going to have things that seem to fall in your lap with ease, but those accomplishments or things, whatever they are far and few in between. Most things, it's just hard work. Whether that is in parenting, whether it's being a spouse or a partner, being a good and decent boss, being a friend, a coworker that people don't want to smack when you start talking nonsense, having consistent sales numbers at your job, you get it. Perseverance is definitely something that is key to me in my life, and I'm sure to many of you, and definitely at the top of my list. If I didn't have perseverance in everything that I do, I honestly don't know what I would be doing right now. Actually, I'd probably be at a job that I hate, not creating the career or part of the career that I love. I'm always learning and studying and sacrificing for the present, for my future old lady self, so I'm taken care of well when I can't take care of myself anymore, and so that, and more importantly, so that when I have enough, I can reach out to make sure that others also have enough. That is a goal of mine. I think I've spoken about this before, that I would definitely, I don't know how, but a goal of mine is definitely to employ a couple other people at least, and definitely to do more in the community in regard to just giving, whether that is in food, in time, in clothing, books, whatever is needed. There's just a lot that I want to do, and that is one of the big reasons that I'm working hard to build something for myself, so that when I'm taken care of and my future is taken care of, that I can make things easier or better for other people. That's really important to me. Love of what you are doing or learning to do. I definitely do love what I'm doing and learning to do. Is it all roses? Not in the least bit. It can be overwhelming, this digital world, this digital sphere, building a career, building a business in the digital sphere. It can be very overwhelming. It can be frustrating. It can be extremely lonely, because let's face it, very few people are doing what you're doing. Finding some people to talk to, it's far and few in between that you find somebody who understands what you're doing and gets what you're doing and sees what you see. So, but despite the overwhelming feelings and frustration that happens at times, when I look back and see how far that I've come, I am so proud of myself. I'm just proud of myself. I'm not sticking to this journey, this part of my journey in life, this season in my life, because I dislike it. I promised myself years ago that I'm going to build a career from what I love. I spent a lot of time doing what I thought I should do, and what I thought I should do was not what I loved. So I'm on my way, bumps and all. Success is no accident. It is hard work, perseverance, learning, studying, sacrifice, and most of all, love of what you are doing or learning to do. What I'm grateful for this past week. I'm grateful that I've made it through a year of podcasting. When this is uploaded, December 6th will be 1 year, episode 51, which I'm pretty proud of. I would have liked to got 52 episodes, but 51 is pretty good. I'm so grateful that I made it through a year podcasting along with everything else that I'm doing. So I thought I'd share 3 things that I've learned so far in this part of my entrepreneurial journey. And the first one is, if I need to take a few days off, I do. And I would be lying if I said I do not feel guilty, because I always feel guilty when I'm not working, because I feel like I should be working on something, doing something, being productive. For me, it's extremely hard to not do something productive, creative, but I'm getting there. Like, for instance, this past Sunday, I was so restless because I felt that I should be working on something, creating something, but I needed the time. And even though I didn't necessarily enjoy not doing anything, I just took it and I needed it. But I am a work in progress, and I'll get there. The second thing that I've learned so far is keeping my podcast shorter because I transcribe them. Not perfectly, but I transcribe them, and it is a lot of work. You know, a 15-minute podcast, even though this one might be more than 15 minutes, a 15-minute podcast versus 45 minutes to an hour and a half, 2 hours, that is a huge difference. And like I mentioned earlier, I'm working towards being able to pay someone to transcribe them for me. And that is one of my many goals for 2017. And hopefully with longer podcasts, I can bring in the occasional guest. So we'll see how that goes in 2017. The third thing that I've learned so far is that I'm grateful that even though my podcast listener numbers are low, I'm still here. This isn't only about who's listening, about doing what I want to do, what I love to do. I know a lot of people, if like their numbers weren't, they weren't getting, say, I don't know, just pick a number. If they weren't getting 5,000 new listens in the first week of their podcast, they would give up. And I can't do that because sometimes something that you feel is decent, and I'm going to pat myself in the back that it's not always perfect, and I wish I'd said things differently, but something that I'm proud of, other people aren't going to necessarily like, or even, and it's not even that people don't like it, it's the fact that there are hundreds and thousands of podcasts out there. It's hard to be noticed. Sometimes that's all that there is. There are people who are the same as me, who are worse than me, who are 10 times better than me. But this is a huge, huge field, and it's hard to get out there. And I'm okay with that. Can I improve a lot? Of course. Are there things that I want to do differently? Of course. But this isn't only about who is listening, but what I want to do. Like I said, I've wanted a podcast for several years now, and I took the plunge. Whether I'm still podcasting a year from now, I don't know. But podcasting is one of those things that I didn't want to look back on years from now and wish that I had tried. Podcasting is definitely from my bucket list, and I'm proud of myself. And I will continue to do better and bring more of myself, more of my personality, and try to worry less about what other people think. And I think that that's definitely changing a bit. I'm forcing myself to come out of my shell and not worry so much about what other people think. And, if I want to talk about something, I'm going to talk about it. And if people say negative things, I can either A, ignore it, or B, block them. I don't have to engage in the negativity. It's not about people agreeing with you, because that's just not how the world works, but you definitely have a choice in how you react or don't react to negativity in the online sphere. So what are you grateful for this week? We're closing in at the end of 2016. Did you get to reach any of your goals this year? Did you get to check things off of your bucket list? Do you have a bucket list? Would you consider making a bucket list, a life bucket list, or even a 5-year bucket list? I do about a 2-year bucket list, I guess, technically a cross-off checklist. So, and speaking of that, when I was looking at my yearly to-do list, I realized that I didn't check much off this year. That's probably the worst year for cross-offs off my list, but I'm okay with that. I've been busier than ever, and anything on the list will have to extend over to 2017. Thank you for tuning into episode 51 of My Views Extended, and thank you for continuing to listen if you have been with me for the full year. I would love to hear feedback and comments of what you think of this podcast and the topics that I've discussed this week. Online interaction is a way to keep in touch with people who are listening. So please, I would love it if you would drop your questions or opinions respectfully in the comment section. None of us will ever agree on the same things. So if you don't agree with or like what I say, kindly move on to someone else's podcast. You can listen to My Views Extended at nadiadanella.com on YouTube, where you can subscribe, like, rate, and or leave a comment, and where closed captioning is available. I will leave links in the show notes, and as more listening platforms are added or changed, I will let you know. Until next time, this is Nadia.
still amaze me? Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, would you still amaze me? Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, would you still amaze me? If I find my way home, yeah.
This is the movement for those who